was saying it's being transcribed.
It's being transcribed. Yeah. Okay.
Which is now being recorded.
Well, we are now being recorded. Apologies, folks. So we at least have all of our minutes, and we have a transcription of everything that's occurred to this point. So we will have all the minutes that we need, certainly. We're going to operate a little old school for the first half at that. Okay, so help needed here in terms of, so we do have a very big need for event chairs. So we've had a few people move away, change roles, etc. All of our play downs need a bit of help. So Emma Rogowska stepped in for us this year, and thank you to her for doing that so well, but she is not able to necessarily take on a bigger responsibility. So as we get closer to elections, this will come up again. We need a lot of help in playdowns, and so far no one has been able to step up. So I'm going to plug right now, if you think you are able to do that, we're going to come back around to this discussion, but we will need a nominee for our board position as well related to playdowns directors. We do not currently have a nominee. So we'll table that for a moment, but Open Championship, Wheelchair Championship, and both arena events need chairs. So if any of those interest you, please email chair@gncc.org, and we will gladly give you a description of what all of that entails. We have a huge amount of annual reports in our Google Drive, so you'll get that link if you have not seen it already. And there are many more beyond what you see here, but these are the ones that we are going to cover right now, starting with international curling events. And I don't know if Bruce is on, but I agreed to cover for him. So unless he wants, he is on. Bruce, did you want to step in and say anything here? And I would.
Yeah, I can step in and speak. And I'll be brief. We had the Ross Tarleton in November. It was held at the Cricket Club in Ontario. The U.S. won handily, which is really good. And the 2027 Ross Tarleton Shield will be hosted at Ardsley and Nutmeg. And I believe the last time they did that was possibly 2018. But it'll be held in the States in November in 2027. All right. Can-Am Mixed Challenge was held in Cornwall, Ontario. For those that went, it was extremely cold up there, but the U.S. won, and we unfortunately were impacted by the East Coast blizzard. One team from Triangle was unable to attend. Several other teams had to leave early to get ahead of the storm before it hit. But overall, it was a great event. The Canadians hosted a fantastic event. And once again, the U.S. won 343 to 315. Next slide, please. Gordon International Curling Medal was held in Utica, New York. Canada won by quite a large margin. GNCC board team won the Stevens Shield, which is awarded to the team with the highest point score in the two friendly matches prior to the actual medal matches. The difference in score was the Canadians had a combined point score of only 5 points greater than the U.S. team. But in the Gordon medal matches, the Canadians absolutely did well. The 2027 Gordon medal will be held in Ottawa. Now, this is the first time since 1884 that it's been held outside of Quebec when held in Canada, and only the second time that it's been held outside of Montreal, the other being in 2019 when it was held out in the Eastern Townships. But this is the first time it'll be held in Quebec, outside of Quebec, and it'll be over in Ottawa. And the intent is that the 5 matches will be played at 5 different clubs. So anybody that goes to the Gordon medal match in 2027 will play at 5 different clubs in Ottawa. Next slide, please. Can-Am's Women's Challenge. Now, this one, I get a great deal of pleasure announcing that the first inaugural women's event will be held at the Tonamount Royal Curling Club in Montreal. Initially, we were worried about the attendance, and so we set the total number of teams to be 8 from the US and 8 from Canada. It turns out that there is a significant waiting list to participate in this event in Canada. We had our last committee meeting a couple of weeks ago and discussed expanding to 12 for this first event, but unfortunately, we've kept it at 8, mainly because in the next event, which will be held in 2027, November 2027, we're holding it at a 3-sheet club. I believe that Belfast Curling Club is going to be hosting the event then. And we don't want to have too many teams for the number of sheets that we have available to us. Anyway, there's a significant waiting list for the Canadian teams. After 2027, it could expand to 12 teams from the US and 12 teams from Canada. That's all I have.
Thank you, Bruce. I'm very excited to see this one come to fruition. Move on to USA. Adam.
Hi, Bruce. Has there been any further sort of discussion or temperature taking with the Canadian side about having some sort of open event that isn't gendered?
Well, we have brought it up. Now, whether that gets onto the schedule in the near future, that I don't know. I am going to push for that because my goal for taking on the role as director was to have a mixed, a women's and an open event. And so the next one is the open event. The women's event got started mainly because of the mixed event. We knew that to get these events going, especially the women's event, it was probably best to start with the mixed event. So women came in, they saw what it was like, they take and run with the ball. So the next step is the open event. And I have reached out to other provinces. So I reached out to New Brunswick and actually asked if they'd be interested, and they were positive. So the next step would be to put an open event together. Yes. So we are thinking about it. It just has not progressed as far as I would like.
That's great. And congrats on getting the women's event off the ground.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Bruce. All right, I'm going to move us along to USA Curling updates. Jen was unable to join us today, so she armed me with all of her updates. She is actually celebrating her daughter's graduation. So congrats to Alina. So first, all clubs have been offered invitations for 1 female, 1 male club member to be club council reps. So this is for USA Curling. If your club doesn't have members registered to attend those meetings, Lauren Rich at USA Curling is the one to contact in order to get registered. USA Curling is increasing the number and locations of their certification courses, including instruction, officiating, etc. Sport 80 will have all of those offerings, and then Lauren Rich is also your key contact there. We mentioned GNCC was well represented at the USA Curling Junior Men's and Women's National Championships, and I know Karen already mentioned Team Pekowitz, including Kalina Petrova, were women's champions of that event. And then we had strong showings as well by Team Staparis, Team McMullen, and Team Church. And then lastly, we have a new USAC high performance director. You probably saw this past week. Brad Gushu has joined USA Curling to take on the high performance program. So looking forward to seeing what happens there. Scott?
If anyone's even slightly hesitant, Lauren Rich is an amazing person and is nothing but the embodiment of the spirit of curling. So reach out to her if you guys have anything you want to ask.
Thank you, Scott. MJ?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute myself. Since my college curling report was late this year, waiting on numbers I couldn't get, just wanted to add to the USA Curling update. Penn State won the bronze at college nationals, and nationals after the pool play is divided into the medal round and the consolation round. And if I recall correctly, we took, hang on. Shoot. Hang on. I thought I had this up in mind.
Okay.
I do. Here it is. Wrong tab. Penn State. Sorry, that was the GNCC event. Yale came in second in the consolation bracket, and RIT came in third.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry that didn't make it onto the slides. It was
Well, I was late. My bad.
And then Bill Stapero won gold at senior men's. Yes, that is true. That's Sue just shared that with us. Or for Worlds, I'm sorry. Yes, Worlds. Yeah, so lots of wins all around. Great news to share. Thank you. Okay, I'm gonna move on to juniors curling and second century fun. So I kind of combine these two because obviously their missions are very linked. Karen, do you want me to just go through? Perfect. Okay. So a huge thank you to Karen Cousins, by the way, for putting together these camps and our junior teams and our, all of the corralling all of the interest around our juniors program, because it is no small task. So just wanted to start there. But we had successful camps at Bucks and Utica. So thanks to both of those clubs for hosting, and to all who volunteered for that. Again, it takes a village. The Olympics spiked a ton of interest, and there will be an additional camp at Bucks County, September 4th through 7th. So please get any interested juniors registered for that. It will be opening soon. Nashua is going to host the GNCC U18 Championships in December. And then Second Century Fund trustees will present at the fall meeting their plan to provide additional support for special projects. They have really healthy fund levels. They actually have a new trustee in Monica Walker, and Karen's heavily involved as well. So there are a lot of good things coming up through the Second Century Fund. So you'll hear more about that at our fall meeting. I'm going to move us on to arena curling with Dave.
Sure. So I'll be quick. We have some events that completed and are coming up just to report on. We had one men's, one women's team from Rock City represent GNCC at the 2025 USA Curling Arena Nationals, and both made very good showings. We have upcoming next month the GNCC Arena Club Championship being hosted this year by Long Island Curling Club. We're nice enough to host it the same weekend the Mets are home, so we're all excited about that. We got 24 teams coming from 14 clubs, and on the books for July, we have the GNCC Playdowns for USA Curling Arena Nationals, hosted by Rocket City. Registration is open and is open until June 1st. I urge any clubs eligible for that to try and send a team. The winning teams from that will get to compete at Arena Nationals in Dallas-Fort Worth in November. And as Kristen noted, we are still looking for hosts or chairs for each of those events for next year.
Thank you, Dave. A little extra animation there. All right, 5 and under events. I will send this over to Kathy if you are on.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, so we had our 3 events. They were very well attended, as you can see there. Thanks to all the clubs and volunteers that host these events. We really appreciate it. And I have a big thank you to send out to Connie and Larry and Jonathan. They're wonderful to work with. We already have, well, that's the next slide. But anyways, the MIA is the D event Kaiser Trophy. It was last seen in Utica. I think we've blasted this out a couple of times, but if your club happens to be cleaning out, organizing things in the off season, just keep an eye out in the dark corners for a wayward trophy and let us know if you find it. Otherwise, we're probably gonna have to deal with that next year. And then on the next slide, you can see that our events are set for 2027. And they're all registered to be a qualifier. They haven't been announced yet, but for the USA Curling 5 and Under Nationals. If your club is interested in hosting one of these events, we do anticipate a large Olympic bump in these events in 2028. If you want to host one, let us know. And then just as always, club reps and presidents, you guys are the ones that are verifying the eligibility of your players. The GNCC verifies eligibility in terms of dues. So if you can just be diligent in that, because there's always questions that come up about how long someone's been curling that we have to deal with. That's it. Any questions?
Thank you, Kathy. All right, Scott, sending it over your way.
All right, mine's a little longer, but I'll try to get through this. So as we've discussed, we're adding new events constantly, which is great. But this is just tagging on even more to my presentation last year. We need to be a little more diligent on how we're scheduling stuff and making sure that we're, not putting our clubs in a bad spot. Every other club is, every club's fighting to host their own events, and ice time is precious. Also, the volunteer burnout is a real thing. So trying to space the events out a little better just is better for our membership. So if we can go next slide. So we try to take the approach of looking at it from, if we have stuff that qualify for nationals, we need to make sure we're giving our teams ample time to plan travel, lodging, prepare themselves, whatever they need to do. So if we take a look from the stuff that we at least send to nationals, we want to get at least a month ahead, if not 2 for some of them. So these are typically when the events are held. This is the window when we need to start looking to have these events planned. If we can go to the next slide. All right. So this is not set in stone because I'm on my way out, but we have been doing a good job of trying to move events closer to this alignment over the last 2-3 years. And especially with a bunch of openings, this is good because we can now specifically target certain events at the right clubs, at the right size, for the right time. This is not set in stone for when each event should be, but it's more of a guiding principle of when we should try to do it, so that the chairs for the events, when they go approach the clubs, that they can say, hey, we're looking for, this month time range. Again, not trying to lock anything down or take any power away from any event chair. It's just more, again, a guiding principle. One of the big things that came out of this discussion was the U18 men's and women's, boys and girls, should stay at the same site in the same weekend whenever the participation supports it. Now, if one of the events ends up getting more popular and they need more ice, we'll deal with it. But worked with Karen, talking with her about this, especially with families that have kids playing in multiple. It preferred to keep it at the same event at the same time, at the same place. So makes perfect sense. The international events, mostly fixed because the outside coordination and traditions, so not trying to mess with anything. And it was mentioned earlier, but working with Steve, the old wheelchair championship chair, there's a lot of other national events that we kept conflicting with every time he was trying to line it up. And because of how few events and how tight the community is, the next chair really needs to work with the national other organizers to figure out what time makes sense for them. There was a lot of that. Do you want me to finish my slides and then go to questions, or do you want me to answer each question on each slide, Kristen?
I think since it's just one question from Trevor, I'm okay calling on it.
Trevor, go ahead.
Hey, Scott, thanks. I was just wondering if there's any thought of combining some of these events. Like I see in January, we have a men's championship and a women's championship, and as well as the men's playdowns and the women's playdowns.
I'm glad you noticed that. That was
and
done
then I also
strategically.
saw on a previous slide, there's an arena championship and the arena playdowns, like almost like one was June, one was July. So it might be easier to find clubs to run fewer events. Is the only point I'm trying to
I
make.
agree. There's one asterisk, and we will get to that on my last slide. But
Thanks.
I agree, but that was strategically done to start that discussion. So thank you. All right, next slide. All right, so again, this is kind of hitting my theme from last year, but now I've been in this for 3 years. We have the numbers, like we know where the events are at. We have a pretty good shot, pretty good feel of it. So we really need to start using a 3-year rolling attendance average to estimate the event size. Like Kristen said, we're going to get bumps after Olympics, but we really need to right size the events at the clubs. Like we have to. My big stick last year was we have 24 events and we have 22 dedicated ice sheets. So if every club should have the opportunity to host an event a year, basically. But we really need to be careful around the larger events. We got to save it for the larger clubs, or it's got to be those multi-clubs that are close enough in order to do it. Again, the goal is to put the right event in the right club at the right time of year. Next slide. Mary Jane, go ahead. Or not?
You're muted, MJ.
Sorry. I am passing on a request from the women at the Utica Curling Club, and we have talked about this, or I have talked about it with them. The small events at small clubs means that women from Utica always have to travel for the Childs, and they would like it to come back to Utica at some point, even though we are a 6-sheet club, and that does tend to be a smaller event. Just a request from them. It makes it easier for them. They don't have to spend as much money to travel to participate.
I don't disagree that, especially for historical reasons, that some ice should be used for certain reasons. This is just more, again, a general guiding principle. This is not a demand or, a requirement. This is just, in general, we got to get better at this as a GNCC. So I heard MJ. All right, next slide. Go ahead, Dorothy. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, I just have to say 30 teams on 3 sheets, I think means you'd have to start on a Thursday. And that puts a bigger requirement on clubs to be able to do these things.
I agree. That's why it's up to. The recommendation is actually 8 teams per sheet, but you can do it with 10 per sheet, but it does affect the day you start. And I mentioned that last year in my presentation. Again, better calendar, but we also need to think about the hosting model. So this is where we're getting to that asterisk, Trevor. So I think everyone's on the same page about the scheduling now. I've had a lot of conversations with a lot of people. Now we're going to talk specifically about the playdown stipends. I chose to only limit it to this specific subject of playdown stipends before we go anywhere further about any other hosting responsibilities or stipend. We are going with what's on the books and what we're currently doing now in this one specific instance. I did not want to. This is going to require the next incoming director a lot of time and a lot of effort to get it right. Heck, it might not even be the next director. It might be the one after that finally massages this all and gets it down. But we're going to look at the real world budget costs of everything, because this was quite the lively discussion on the board, not just last year, but this year as well. And we do have this budgeted. So let's start talking about playdown stipends. Next slide. All right. So the current stipend is we made it so that teams didn't need to pay the fees during COVID. We have, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we agreed to put it back into place for this budget. Peter, do you remember?
The budget is already put in. I believe we did go to $550 a day.
Right, but no, the team fee that we had been waiving.
The team fees were going to be passed on to the clubs to help them with their costs.
All right, so they're coming back basically. So the $550 a day is what we paid for the clubs for 4 days to do the playdowns, and that came to $2,200. However, the way that they're currently worded and they're currently written and they currently function, it doesn't matter if it's 2 sheets, 3 sheets, 4 sheets, 6 sheets. It's just straight per day. And we had multiple instances this year where ice is expensive and we needed to buy some ice for events, not just saying playdowns, but in general. But we have no scaling way to actually even throw a dartboard at what what ice should cost us to host a GNCC event. So specifically playdown stipends, instead of just straight $550 a day. Again, I am not making a demand for the budget. This is something that everyone needs to discuss for the next year, for the next budget proposal. It's not for this year, it's for next year and beyond. Is if we change the team fee from $35 to $100, $200, or $250, I threw a low, a medium, and a high just so that people can see the numbers. It can be anywhere in between there. Again, I'm just trying to get something on paper so that everyone understands what we're trying to do. And we do it per sheet, per day, and we could even agree to do half days, because to what Dorothy mentioned before, if you need a full day on Thursday, we got to pay for it. But if you only need half a day, okay. Same with Sunday. Are you having the event full day on Sunday, or is it only half a day on Sunday? So trying to make it easier for the clubs and for the chairs and for the teams to understand what they're going to get, because there is expenses to run these events. Let's do the Charlotte room. Does the table read and make sense for potential theoretical, like what the total stipend would go to the clubs?
Yes, I think to be fair, in the interest of time,
sorry.
This is not something we're trying to put in place at the moment.
Right.
We should probably move along.
Yeah, sorry.
I know Peter's had his hand up, and Carl, if you want to raise anything, let's do it.
This is my last slide, FYI, everybody.
No, that's fine. I'm going to call on Peter, but Carl, I'm going to push you to new business if there's anything. Okay, Peter.
We stopped collecting the fee when COVID hit, and this year's budget is already in place. So this could be something that, if it is determined we want to implement, we can do for the next budget.
Yep, that's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, okay, that's good. But, it was like a $35 for a team fee back before COVID, and whatever we decide to make it is fine. I mean, we can put it into the budget accordingly.
But the thing I wanted to get across the membership is this is something that the clubs should have input on for sure, and I don't think should just come straight from the board. That's all.
And then one phrase in the room from Dave.
Just a real quick response to Trevor, that unfortunately the arena championships represent arena clubs as an open championship, and arena nationals are gendered men's and women's, so we can't combine those two events. I wish we could.
She said thumbs up. All right, next one.
I am done.
Look at that. And Dorothy, we got you up next. So we got a little bit of fun now coming, and I know then we're going to take a break. Yeah, we're going to take a break, I think, before the budget piece, because I think we're all starting to stand up in this room. So it tells me we need a break. So I'm going to hand it over to Dorothy.
Okay, so first and foremost, if you guys can all see, if I can get the share to while this is the Outstanding Curling Award that we present. And this year, we are honored to recognize two exceptional members of the GNCC who have made a significant and lasting contributions to both our organization and the spirit of curling. The Outstanding Service Award is presented in recognition of exemplary leadership, successful accomplishment of important projects, longstanding dedication to curling, and other outstanding contributions to our community. This year, the community is proud to recognize two highly deserving recipients of this prestigious honor. Our first recipient is Greg Eisenhower, who, who belongs to not one, but three GNCC clubs, TCC, Granite, and the Boston Curling Club. Greg's dedication to curling and to the GNCC is truly extraordinary. As the GNCC's head ice technician, Greg has devoted countless hours to helping clubs throughout our region improve the quality of their ice. And what's curling without great ice? Through seminars, instructional sessions, and resources available on the GNCC website, he has generously shared his expertise with curlers and ice makers alike. But Greg's commitment goes far beyond classroom instruction. He's well known for traveling directly to clubs to work hand-on with their teams, helping them refine and improve their ice conditions. Most recently, Greg traveled to Schenectady just prior to the USA Curling College Nationals to assist in preparing the ice for championship standards. Great curling begins with great ice, and Greg has played an essential role ensuring that GNCC clubs continue to provide excellent playing conditions to our members and events. In addition to his technical expertise, Greg also has an outstanding leadership in the chair of our nomination committee over the past several years, helping to strengthen the future leadership of GNCC. Please join me in congratulating Greg and thanking him for his exceptional service and dedication to the sport of curling. Yay, Greg. Oh, and Greg has also helped coach many junior teams. He has. I have seen him doing that, so thank you for that additionally. Our second nomination is Tim Kine from Ardsley, whose dedication and attention to detail has been instrumental in managing the GNCC program. While the program has been extremely successful, it also requires careful oversight and tremendous amount of work behind the scenes. This year brought additional challenges, increased interest in curling, fueled in part by the Olympics, led to a surge in new members and Learn to Curl programs throughout the GNCC. Through it all, Tim ensured the program continued to operate smoothly and effectively. Tim's commitment to curling extends far beyond this role. He served on the Ardsley board for decades, including 20 years as their treasurer. His professionalism, diligence, and steady leadership has helped make curling a safer and stronger sport for all of us. He's also Kristen's hero. I've just seen that. Please join me in recognizing and thanking Tim Klein for his many years of outstanding service to the GNCC and the curling community. Our volunteers have made the GNCC what it is, and these are just two of the many people that have helped make it happen. So thank you, everybody, and thank you, Tim and Greg.
Thank you, Dorothy, very much. And congratulations to both Greg and Tim. Extremely well deserved. I can't stress that enough. So great nominees there, great awards. Thank you, Dorothy.
You're welcome.
All right, so we are going to move on. So Peter, I think we're going to take a 5-minute break. If everyone is okay with that, we'll switch our 5-minute break to right now, since we've been on this for about an hour and a half. And then we will come back just a little past 2:30. So like let's say 2:33 Eastern, to be clear. So we will hop off here for a second. All right, everyone, it'll be a 1-minute warning and we'll come back and start back up with our treasurer report. All right, we're gathering back up here. It is 2:33 and we are going to keep it moving along. So I put Jeff Casper's note up just for you who are still looking at your screen. But that is available to you on our drive as well. That was Dave's suggestion to put it up during the break. And I love that suggestion. It's such a great letter. With that, I am going to send it over to Peter if you're ready for the treasurer report.
I am. Thank you, Kristen. I would like to make a disclaimer that the figures that I am quoting for membership were based on the fiscal year, not the April 30th numbers that you had distributed earlier. The treasurer's report reflects the state of the GNCC at the end of the 2025-26 fiscal year, which is March 31st each year. I will make an exception to that when I discuss membership because of the bad news, good news portion of the report. At the close of the calendar year, the GNCC had 7,054 dues-paying members across all membership categories. That represents a drop of 647 in membership from the previous year, when we had 7,701 at the end of the calendar year. That is the first time since 2012 that we had had a decrease in membership at that time of year. Good news is that by the close of the fiscal year on March 31st, clubs reported an additional 763 members, bringing the total membership at that time to 7,817. That is a 36-member increase year over year, but it is the smallest increase in the last 15. 10 years ago, the GNCC had 4,655 members in 48 clubs, more than half of our current membership. Today, there are 80 clubs. Our membership has 5,837 curling on dedicated ice, 1,864 in arena, and 100 members of paper clubs. 16 were called as natural ice. At the close of the fiscal year, there were 3 clubs that had not sent their dues rosters to Julie Shanatry, our member and dues chair, nor had they paid dues despite several reminders from Julie. The clubs were Amherst, New Pond, and Peachtree. This is the second year in a row for Amherst, a paper club that has not submitted or paid a dues roster. During the new business portion of the meeting, Jeff Bunn should call the membership vote, which we've already gone over. This is the first year for New Pond, which is a natural ice club in Massachusetts. And they have not submitted a roster. Peachtree submitted their roster and paid their dues after the close of the fiscal year. I have 3 reports to present. First report, please, Jeff, is the asset sheet. This compares the previous fiscal year with the one just closed. Although our
Asset sheet.
Give me 1 second, Peter. I'm going to grab that from our drive. Yeah, the asset sheet. Hold on 1 second, please. There you are, Peter.
Okay, very good. Very good. The first report is the asset sheet, which compares previous fiscal year to the one we just closed. Although the operating account looks like a large amount of money, that represents the total funds available to spend in this fiscal year. Julie Shanatry from Utica does an outstanding job collecting the dues from our 80 clubs. Revenue is down. in the operating account from last year, despite increase in membership. This is because these reports reflect money in the account at the close of the fiscal year. Some clubs reporting have not yet paid. That income will be reflected in the next fiscal year. The GNCC has 3 dedicated funds separate from the operating account, governed by independent trustees: the Memorial Trust, the Legacy Trust, and the Second Century Fund. $1 of dues for adult and social members goes to each of these 3 funds. This year, that was a total of $6,981 put into each of these funds. The Memorial Trust lends money to clubs that need to replace failed equipment with a 5-year, 3% interest flat rate loan. It will fund up to 50% of the replacement cost. Recognizing that our clubs are getting older and more prone to equipment failure, clubs are not limited to a single loan. To date, 3 clubs have taken out a second loan. There are currently 2 loans outstanding because Albany has paid off their loan months early. Schenectady and Triangle are both paying their respective loans quarterly. All payments have been made on time. The trustees report there is a potential loan request and they have sufficient funds at this time to fulfill them. The Legacy Trust helps arena clubs transition to dedicated ice from arena ice with loans of up to $75,000. This is not the starting point, but is to help clubs get over the finish line or to meet requests for items that they may have missed before they put in their new club. Like the Memorial Trust, these loans are for 5 years with a 3% flat interest rate. Trust has a balance of $202,733. Pittsburgh has paid their loan in full. Curl Vegas is making quarterly payments, and the loan should be paid off by July 2029. There are 4 arena clubs that have indicated they would be looking for loans as they transition to dedicated ice in the future. The Second Century Fund to help our junior curlers currently has $101,023, which includes a $50,000 CD with interest just rolled over. We have $51,033 in that CD. This also includes the Kim Freeman Thielman Scholarship Fund for junior women curlers. The scholarship fund has $11,786. The first scholarship was given out this year. Several teams have requested financial assistance from the Second Century Fund, and all requests have been funded. Our fixed assets are self-explanatory. Stone rental report in your packet is a bit more detailed. Our more valuable sterling silver trophies have not been appraised in 10 years. We are looking for a qualified appraiser to do an update. Hopefully that will be in next year's budget. The second report, if you put that up, is the budget versus actual expense report. It shows it. Okay. Thank you. Yep. There you go. Thank you. And it shows a surplus of $11,300. We had miscellaneous income of $1,146 from the sale of some GNC tartan material. While 5 of the line items were over budget, 5 had no expense at all, and 7 items were within budget, which is how we created the surplus. In the past 5 years, GNCC has carried a surplus averaging approximately $12,000 per year into each of the next fiscal years. This surplus has been rolled into the proposed budget along with income from dues, insurance, junior camps to create a budget of $170,609. My third report
Getting it. One moment, please.
okay.
That's the proposed budget.
Yes. Is the proposed budget for 2026-27. There we go. Good. I asked each director to contact committee chairs for budget requests. I have tried to accommodate all these requests. Chairman's budget was increased substantially over last year to include anticipated legal fees and to cover the cost of meeting mediation fee. The pins, patches, and awards portion of the budget was increased to accommodate the fact that this is a year when Dorothy Roach buys many of our championship pins in bulk to get better pricing. The budget reflects anticipated increase in the liability insurance. To help offset this increase, insurance will be increased by 50 cents per person. The new cost will be $7.50 per person for this season. This is the first time that we've had an increase despite annual increases from the insurance companies. A major concern for the board was how to encourage our member clubs to host GNCC events. Some of this was touched upon by Scott. The decision was made to increase club reimbursements for ice rentals for these events from $450 per day to $550 per day. These events typically run for 3 days. There was a board discussion about reinstating the GNCC entry fee for these teams. And we probably will be going over that in the future. The budget proposed requires a motion and a second to accept. It requires a vote by the membership after discussion. Do I hear a motion?
The discussion follows the motion. So I will put up a slide here that has a suggested motion if anyone would like to make that motion.
I'll make Jeff Bunn, Great Smoky Mountain. I'll make a motion to accept the 2026-2027 budget as presented by Peter Lyons.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Sorry.
Alexander Zimmerman.
Alex, okay, perfect. Okay, great. And now we can open up discussion. And sorry, Karen has one in the room. So I will let Karen speak first. Let me just move the speaker over a little. There we go.
Hey, Peter, now I just have a question on the asset sheet. There was an expense sheet tab that I opened and I wasn't quite sure what it was. Could you tell me what you put there or what the expenses was?
Sorry, which one are you referring to?
The asset sheet, I think
Okay.
it was his first
Yep, that's fine.
exhibit.
And then
There's a tab that said expenses at the top of it. That I opened.
the expenses, I see. Okay.
This one.
Yep. So your question is?
What, he didn't speak to it, so
Oh.
I was wondering what he's presenting there.
Peter, did you have any commentary on the expenses tab on your asset sheet? You might be on mute.
I am on mute. I do not see an expense tab on the one that I printed out.
This is the one that you sent to Jeff.
It's
From
the
the-
full document.
Bottom.
It's the second tab. There's assets first and then expenses as a second tab.
You know, I can't find it, so I would have to defer on that until I can try and get to my computer.
Okay, it is on the screen if you can see the screen.
Peter, it could be that it's just old and you
Yeah.
you didn't anticipate presenting it. I was just wanting to be clear if that's true.
I believe that's accurate because I didn't have anything in it for this year on my notes.
Okay, thanks. Yeah,
Probably something that I did not delete when I did this.
Okay,
So-
so we will, yeah, I see there's a spring
Alright.
2011, fall
Yeah, it was
2011. So
probably-
this is
yeah.
probably old. So we will double confirm that after the meeting and just get it corrected.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dorothy, you're up next. Oh, you are on mute.
Sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. Peter, can you tell us what's happening to our dues per person now for next year? What's the proposal here?
There's no proposed increase for this year.
Okay,
When we're running a budget surplus at the moment, I don't feel that we need to have one at this time. And we're still funding our 3 dedicated funds with a nice chunk of money to try and help our clubs and our junior curlers. I have not put anything in the budget for an increase in dues.
thank you. I like that
Jack.
answer.
Jack, you're up next.
Thank you. Peter, Jack Tully. I'd be interested in why legal fees are so much over budget.
Well, we had a bylaws review, which was $5,071.21, excuse me. And then there was a dispute that was cost us $6,365. That was during the last budget year.
Mm-hmm.
So far, and that totals $11,436.21. After the close of the fiscal year, we have had a bill for bylaws of $1485 and for dispute of $3180. So the total for that is an additional $44,665 that are going against the next fiscal year's budget.
Thank you, Mr. Treasurer.
Yep.
Eric, you are up next.
Yeah, I had a question that was brought to me by my membership. It has to do with the proposed budget and in terms of the juniors. We're looking at, if I'm adding this right, the camps, which from what you've said have been pretty successful. That's, if I'm adding it right, it's about 12.4 out of the $20,000 budget. Am I adding that correctly? In terms of all the expenses for the camps, for the two camps?
Ice rental food. Yeah.
So all of these items on the screen?
No, just for the junior camps, it says from Bucks Camp and Utica Camp.
Yeah, that's,
Yep, so
Yeah.
Bucks and Utica.
is there a question?
I have
My
not broken
question-
that out, but we can do that.
No,
I'm
that's
assuming that you
fine.
know what it is. You know the answer.
It's fine. No, I'm just looking at it in terms of a number. Is it our best? I'm just asking, are we getting the best bang for the buck with it? That's the question that's been brought to me. It's over 50% of the budget. I don't know how many, in terms of information, how many members, junior members, it's that are taking advantage of this. That's all. I don't know if Karen could answer that or.
Karen would be the one who should be addressing this. However, I will make an editorial comment.
Okay.
Juniors are the reason that the GNCC is going to succeed. We need to support them. And Karen, please, you may answer as you need.
Yeah, happily. So we are a nonprofit and we have to support grassroots. And we all believe that the kids are the most grassroots that we can get. And since at least the year 2000, the Grand National has spent money on camps. We do a competitive analysis each year to see what other camps they could be going to. And we charge $175 per camper, and we supplement with our operating dues the rest of the costs of the camps. The 2-day camps are only $100 that we charge our campers. The United States Junior Curling, and we are only 2 other areas in the United States are they offering junior camps. United States Junior Curling Association offers camps. They cost $475 a player, but you must fly and travel to Chaska or Arizona and stay in hotels there. And then the United States Curling Association offers a junior development camp with a $675 price tag. Again, you must fly to either Chaska or Blaine and put yourself up and pay those fees. So the Grand National is not, we are using our dues to supplement and support the juniors, to receive training and to make connections and all the great things that any child's summer camp or camp experience, can afford them. And they're wildly popular. If you haven't read my actual report that's attached to the meeting, I believe we had 44 campers. We had 13 curling clubs represented, and we had teams come out of that. And these are camps that were started at Cape Cod, and Corey Dropkin was at these camps, and Danny Casper came to camps, and the same people who were teaching in the year 2000 are still offering teaching services here. So I am so proud of the camps that we put on. And I only want more and more kids to come. And we have some challenges in that not all kids will come to camp in summer. And we have some challenges that not all curling clubs even start their junior programs until like November. So this year, we have a group called the Junior Coordinators, and we meet on Google Meet, and we have a Slack channel that the Grand National Board has provided for us, and we are able to communicate regularly and with special video calls where we can talk about what should we be doing for juniors in the future and make plans. So it's really an exciting time because the people on those calls are all in it with the same goal. Get kids curling, teach them how to do it well, help them make connections, and perhaps, and because this is sport, they do change from grassroots practicing to team proficiency, and they enter U18s and they enter U21s. So I think it's a fantastic program. The other regions don't do these things. We do. And I think Bill Loffer has been outstanding as the Bucks County onsite guy. And we've already had our team meetings to talk about this year's programs. So it's exciting. And I do hope that you can now feel comfortable that your kids are not being charged too much, and that the Grand National membership truly does try to support juniors through their camps.
Thank you, Karen.
Great. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. And I see we have Scott and then Marianne. And also when anyone speaks up, if you could just please announce your club as well, or if you're on the board, for example, Scott.
Hey, Eric. One thing I want to stress is Karen and everyone else involved in the youth program really do pinch every penny. Also, Petersham has been a recent benefactor of those funds in those camps, with a former curler being eventually on the high performance team for women's. So if anyone from your membership is looking to cut the budget, that is not where I would recommend they be looking.
Marianne?
Marianne from Mullen from Plainfield. I just want to say that if you're having been paying attention myself for the last 10 or so years, looking at the ascendancy of GNCC curlers within all of the competitions, the juniors and the nationals, more and more curlers are from the GNCC, and a lot of those have been attending the camps regularly. And just watching that happen, from my perspective, I think we are getting more than our money's worth, because these kids and now grown-ups, they are out there and they're representing this region, and they're succeeding phenomenally. So I think it's well worth it. That's my 2 cents.
Thank you, Marianne. Thanks. So I have no other hands up. That looks like we can proceed to the vote on the proposed budget. So we are going to go ahead and open up the vote. Give me 1 second to switch my screens around here. So we have that, and then I will go over and open it up. Give me 1 moment, please. Oh, it's on the screen. This is being a little bit of a pain in the butt. Sorry. We have a big TV up here and it wants to try to make this gigantic on my screen. I know. Well, no, I tried that. I tried that. I tried the normal things that usually work. All right. So apologies. I am opening that up in about 30 seconds here. Okay, the vote is now open. So please follow the instructions on your screen. I keep forgetting to click submit. Oh, you click the vote. Yeah. Is there anyone out there who has not yet voted or who is having issues voting? I'll give you about 30 seconds to come forward and then we will close it because most of our ballots have been submitted. Last call to vote. All right, I'm going to close the vote. And it is just giving me our results. And I'll bring those back over shortly. 100% of the votes. So everyone has voted. Oh, of course. Okay, it's being a little weird when I try to bring it over, but you can go to the same site and get the results, but you can see it there at the bottom of the screen. I'm gonna bring it back over here though, because otherwise it's going to cause me the same issue later. All right, so the motion passes unanimously. So thank you all for, yep, I'm sorry.
Kristen, I'm not sure, when I try to view the results, it tells me that the results are not shared.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Oh, let me see if I can solve that quickly. And if I can, I will. Otherwise, all of this will be shared. I will have the reports right after, but I will.
I'm personally willing to take your word for it. I just wanted to let you know.
Fair. No, I appreciate that. But yeah, we had it set up.
I clicked it.
It might just.
I can't like even for me.
After voting ends, so I'm wondering if, because I closed it early, I'm wondering if it's a timer thing. So
It's okay.
yeah, apologies. I don't have the answer for that right now, but what I will say is you will definitely have access to how everyone voted, which, you know, this one's pretty easy, but following the meeting.
Okay, I just have one more item. Thank you, Kristen. Our one last item, the accounting and auditing firm, McCafferty & Company, is currently preparing our 990 filing and our CHAR 500 for the state of New York and the financial statement. Their preliminary report states that the GNCC is in a sound financial state and is well positioned going forward. They're satisfied with our operation, transparency, and the redundancy of our reporting. And as somebody already asked the question, there will not be a dues increase proposed for this season. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Peter. All right, we are going to move on now. We were going to have a break, but since we switched that up, now we will start to the former Can-Am Mixed Challenge Committee suspension appeal. So I want to introduce, do we have Dr. Earwicker and Josh on the call here?
Yes, hello.
Hello, thank you for joining us, and I'm going to give you a little bit of time in a second to introduce yourself and talk through how this will run. But I just want to level set with everyone who's on the call. You should have received all the materials for this in advance, including everything from the initial dispute to everything happening yesterday, as well as the details of the appeal. All of that is available in the drive. So I expect most of you have reviewed it. There will be details shared here that are within those files, and I would urge you to help us keep moving the meeting along with the time. So I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Earwicker and Josh to start up our appeal portion of the meeting.
Great. Thank you, Kristen, and thank you to the board and representatives and members here today. Can you hear me okay?
We can. Thank you.
All right, excellent. Well, as Kristen mentioned, I'm Dr. Ben Earwicker, and my colleague, Attorney Josh Olmstead, are here today to facilitate as third-party neutral consultants and mediators, which is the role that we serve for appeals like this. And as you are aware, there is an appeal of the arbitrator's decision regarding suspension of members. We have 3 appellants here today, 2 of whom will present, and alphabetically by last name, we have Bob Hogan, Joel Lineker, and Monica Lynn. Monica will not be presenting today, but has given her proxy to Bob to speak on her behalf. So I want to spend just 2 to 3 minutes to kind of talk about the process and set the stage and the expectations for how this will go. You should have received the letter from us that indicated the overview of the breakdown of time. So I want to go over that and a couple of ground rules. So after this brief introduction, we will have an arbitration panel presentation that will last 10 minutes, followed by the appellant's appeals. Each appellant is allowed to take up to 10 minutes each. After that, we'll have the Broomstones Curling Club response for up to 10 minutes. And I believe Rich Collier is going to be presenting on behalf of Broomstones. We'll then have a 5-minute response by GNCC leadership, followed by a final 3-minute appellant final rebuttal for up to 3 minutes each. Now, importantly, after the presentations, we'll have an opportunity for a motion for each of the appellants. I'll talk about that in a second. After each motion, we'll have discussion, which will allow the representatives present to ask a question, make a statement, or otherwise engage for up to 2 minutes each. So in terms of framing this, the bylaws regarding the appeal will govern. This is Article 6, Section 3, subsection 5, that says the representatives may uphold or overturn the arbitrator's decision by a majority vote of Grand National representatives present voting in person or by general proxy. And so there will be a vote for each of the motions made for each of the 3 appellants. Now, in terms of motions, a motion must be made for each of the 3 appellants either to uphold or overturn the arbitrator's decision. Each motion will be followed by discussion before the representatives vote. And we will go in alphabetical order, starting with Bob, followed by Joel, and then an opportunity for Bob to speak on behalf of Monica. In order to speak, if you can raise your hand or make a note in the chat, we would prefer if you can raise your hand because then we can have a sequential order of who has raised their hands. We will call you by name. I have a master list of the representatives and as proxies and for each of your teams and the clubs represented. Your name will be checked against the official list, and then each speaker will have up to 2 minutes with a 30-second warning. Mics will be shut off at the 2-minute mark if you've used all of your time. In terms of disruptions, and I don't anticipate any disruptions, but if there are any disruptions, we will provide a warning, and then your mic will be muted. The 3rd time will result in removal from the meeting. Again, you can send questions if you're not a representative. If you're a general member, you can send questions or comments to your official representative. who can then ask questions or make comments on your behalf. And again, questions in the chat must be sent by an official rep or they will not be read. We'll turn to voting. Kristen, any instructions for the voting for this motion?
This one is going to be the same as others, so we are going to go ahead and open that now. Let me just refresh here. And I will let you all know when it's open, but you should have the instructions on your screen. Okay, this one, sorry, hold on 1 second, please. Okay, hitting start vote now, so this should now be available. I just heard that there are some maybe slow refresh issues happening. Could be just us, but just so you know, if you run into trouble, just refresh your screen, please. And I see, Mike, you potentially may need to refresh your screen.
Especially if you're on mobile. Might be better to do it incognito.
Have an issue. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Let me know, Mike, if you still have an issue. We do have 48 ballots submitted, so we're going to give this a few more minutes. And please just let us know in the chat if you are having any issues. Looks like we have 50 ballots submitted. I think before we had 53. I know a couple of people might not be in the call or possibly abstained. There is an option to abstain on the form, yes. If anybody has an outstanding vote, please let us know now. I'm going to go ahead and say I'll close this in a minute or so. Okay, since nobody raised anything, I heard maybe somebody come off mute there. Any issues? There's probably just feedback. Okay, so we are going to go ahead and close this vote. Give me about 30 seconds and I will share results on screen. Okay, so our results tab, we had 40 votes tallied, 10 abstentions across 50 ballots, 16 votes for yay to overturn, 24 votes for nay. So we are upholding the arbitration panel decision against Bob Hogan. Dr. Earwicker, anything to share there? Any?
Nope, I think that, yeah, that resolves the first motion. Yeah, thank you for sharing that. We'll go ahead and move forward with a second motion. And now this is with regard to Joel Leneker. And Joel, am I saying your last name correctly there?
Yes, it is. It's Leneker. Yes.
Lineker.
Oh, got it.
Thank you, Joel. So do we have a motion with regard to Joel Lineker's arbitration decision?
There was a question about weighted.
Oh, let's see here. Oh, that would be a question for you, Kristen. Notice that the ballot results had weighted checked.
Yes, so I can share with you. Those ballots went in with a weight of 1 for everyone. So everyone who had a vote, not including, was it Nantucket, New Pond, Amherst, right? So people who did not pay this year did not have a vote. They had a weight of 0, but we still included those in there. So that was the only way that we could put in. So it was weighted. I'm happy to bring the results up again if you'd like, MJ.
She said thanks. The chat, I see.
And we will share all of this after and you'll be able to see the votes.
Okay. Thank you. Adam, was your question related to the procedure there or the voting? Or would you like to make a motion?
I was going to make a motion.
Okay.
Only for the sake of simplicity and consistency, I guess I would structure this motion the same way the previous motion was structured.
Okay.
I'll second it. This is Dorothy Roach from Rochester.
So just to be clear, your motion, Adam, is to overturn the arbitration panel decision against Joel Lineker. And we have a second.
Not because I'm necessarily in favor of that position, but just because I think it will be easiest for everyone to vote in a consistent way.
Okay, and it sounds like we have a second from Dorothy. Any discussion? And this will be structured the same way. So up to 2 minutes for questions. We'll have concise answers. If there's anything specific to Joel's appeal or generally about the appeals in general. Okay, seeing and hearing none. Give it another 30 seconds just in case anyone has any discussion for this motion. Okay, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to the vote. I believe the instructions are there on your screen.
Yep, give us just about, again, 30 seconds or so to open the vote, or to start the vote rather. Yep. Okay, the vote is now started. In case you were on the screen before, just make sure you give it a refresh. I think our internet's a touch slow here, so it might take a moment for it to come up, but. Please let us know in the chat or verbally if you have any issues getting into the vote. Okay, we have 47 ballots in thus far. I think we had 50 last time. So we will give it a few more minutes. But please do, again, let us know. I see 48 in now, so we'll give it a couple more minutes. All right, it looks like we have 50 ballots in. If anyone has not voted yet, please, or having issues, please let us know as soon as possible. Otherwise, I will go ahead and close the vote. Okay, I am closing the vote now. And I will share the election results again on the screen. Oh, you can see the weight. Yeah, there's the weight, by the way. Sorry, it's being. Okay, so with 40 votes tallied, 10 abstentions, 15 votes for yay, 25 votes for nay. So no, we will not overturn the arbitration panel decision against Joel Ledecker. Thank you everyone for voting.
Okay, and we will have a third motion, and this is with regard to Monica Lynn's suspension and the arbitration decision in her case. Is there a motion?
Do we have to have a motion?
Yes, we have to do
Yeah.
all three, unfortunately.
Okay, well, I'll make the same motion with the new name. Mike Simpson Charleston.
Thank you, Mike.
And
Thanks,
Dorothy
Mike.
Roach will second it.
Okay, so here
Okay,
are
so the
sorry, go ahead.
yeah, so the motion on the floor is to overturn the arbitration panel decision against Monica Lynn. Any discussion? Okay, I'll give it another 30 seconds. Feel free to raise your hand or send a message through the chat. All right, hearing none, we'll go ahead and move to voting.
Okay, we are trying to start the vote. 1 second. One second all. Okay.
Maybe it's all right.
Okay, it just wasn't showing us that it was started. It has started. We are all good. So please go in and follow the same instructions. Mhm. Mhm. Okay, we have 46 ballots submitted. Yeah, now it's 48, so we're very close to finalizing. So I'll give about 60 seconds more. Again, same thing applies. If you are having issues, if you are struggling at all or have not voted, please let us know. All right, I'm getting no more ballots in, so I am going to go ahead and close unless any last issues. Okay, I'm closing and over and results. So same thing, we now had 50 ballots submitted. Make sure, yeah, that's the right one. So 40 votes tallied, 10 abstentions from 50 ballots, 15 votes yes, and 25 nay. We will not overturn the arbitration panel decision against Monica Litt.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for the votes and for this discussion today. I know it's been a lot. I know you have a very full agenda still to complete. So thank you for everyone's time and attention today. And if you do have any questions either about the process or our role, feel free to reach out through the GNCC chair. And we'll be sure to do a follow-up conversation if you have any feedback for us. So thank you very much. Is there anything else, Kristen?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank you both, Josh and Dr. Earwicker. Thank you for helping us facilitate a fair process, which was painful for all of us. So I thank you for the methodical way you approached it and the way that you helped us get through it. So I appreciate your services here.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Enjoy the rest of the meeting.
Thank you. All right, with that, we're
Bye.
going to take a 5-minute break, y'all. I know we all need it after that. So let's take 5 minutes, come back at 5:10. Totally understand if people need to leave. I will share that we do have an important bylaws vote coming, and we also have elections coming. So 2 very important things. We will try to get through them as soon as humanly possible. But let's come back about 5:10. Thanks all. All right, everyone, about a 1-minute warning here. All right, everyone, we are going to pull it back together and finish this meeting up. So you can still see my screen. We are going to go through the second portion of the bylaws proposal. So we're not at Guinness time yet, Mike, but we are approaching it. Actually, funnily enough, I leave for Dublin tonight. So good timing. Okay, so bylaws. Just to level set, we as a board, plus our lawyer, plus quite a few others, put together a bylaws proposal, which you received back in March, end of March, early April. Forgive me on the date here, I'm a little fried. At that bylaws proposal, within that bylaws proposal, you have what we originally proposed. Then we had our meeting with many of you as reps on April 23rd. And at that meeting, we realized there were some parts of the bylaws that potentially needed different wording. So we added in our change log, which you're likely familiar with, 2 columns, E and F, that show the proposed alternate language, because we couldn't just change the proposal that we sent out by the required time, right? So you will see us throughout this go through the proposed language, which is what we're going to do, first, and then we are going to look at the bylaws proposal, so the original that you received, except those ones with additional language. So this will make more sense as I get into it, but the first piece is sections with alternate language. So this is what we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about, but if you were at that April 23rd meeting, this may be very clear to you already. We obviously covered Article 3, Sections 1 through 4, and Article 5, Sections 2 through 3 in Part 1 at the beginning of the meeting, so we are not revisiting that. Article 2, Sections 2 through 4. This is to make sure the language around the chair and vice chair terms is clear. So what we originally had in our proposal was may run for a second 2-year term in the next calendar year after completing their term. It wasn't as clear to people that this didn't allow a consecutive term. We don't want there to be a consecutive term. I don't want there to be a consecutive term. So the alternate language that we're proposing now is that you may not run for a consecutive term. And so it prevents back-to-back terms. The language doesn't limit the chair or vice chair to a certain number of terms. That is the same as it was in the prior version. So all of that is called out in the change log. I'm happy to show that live in a second here. The Article 2, Section 8 piece, that is the portion of and this was raised by Joel Leneker actually after that meeting. The first paragraph and then 1 and 2 it was not extremely clear that a vote by the board related to a conduct review committee to remove a director. It was not clear that the language said a board vote initiates the conduct review committee. It sounded a little bit like the board vote removes the the board vote removes the director. And so we changed the wording to ensure that it says that either a board vote or a membership inquiry can initiate the conduct review committee that then looks into that director's removal. So apologies, I know that was a lot of legalese, but then we have Article 6, Section 3. This one was also from that meeting. The alternate language allows an appeal to be heard at a special session rather than wait for the annual meeting. So in the case of this dispute that we just went through, for example, our old bylaws said you must wait for an annual meeting and have a special session within that annual meeting to hear an appeal of a dispute. What we have in the other portion, the proposal for the conduct review committee, so the one that removes a director, is that we have an option, some timing where they can request a special session instead of waiting for the annual meeting. And so we basically adopted that language and used that for the dispute process as well to make them both very similar. Thank you for the links.
Yes.
So essentially this portion now is consistent with the appeal process and timing, allowing either annual meeting as the forum to hear an appeal, or a special session if the annual meeting would essentially be too far away. We also did discuss at that April 23rd meeting, Article 8, Sections 1 through 4. This is around the USCA board members. There was a concern by Joel that the statement of ethics and conflict of interest policy that the USCA board members have to sign is potentially in conflict with our represent and defend language. The represent and defend the GNCC's interest, that was always in the bylaws. There was no change to that language overall. So that I verified this with Jen Schumacher-Bracey, who is our current USCA board member, and she said that there is no conflict of interest. She had to sign something. She reviewed it. She also checked with Gordon at USCA, and there's no conflict there. So we left the language as it is in our proposal. So with that, I cannot make a motion, but if someone would like to make a motion, that here is suggested wording on your screen.
So moved.
I'll make it.
Mike.
Mike
Simpson.
There we go.
Yeah.
Seconded.
Mike Simpson from Charleston.
Second.
Leanne Havley from Charlotte, seconded. Thank you. Okay, now we can open discussion. Dorothy.
I have another potential change, and that is Article 12. We're talking about compensating of officers and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. We are a volunteer organization. We've always been a volunteer organization. I recommend we put the word officer from that and leave it that you can hire advisors, et cetera. But I think if we're going to start paying our officers, that should be a separate meeting.
Agree, actually, and it would have to be in our budget as well, right? So you have to vote on the budget. So this is sort of future proofing our bylaws.
I get it, but I don't think we should have it in there that officers should ever be paid. We're all volunteer.
Okay. Scott.
But didn't you say Article 12?
I said, I think it's Article 12. Is it not Article 12?
Yeah, but Article 12 is not up for this motion right now.
Yeah, I
But the
did.
whole bylaws are they not?
No. So this motion,
No.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I said it at the wrong time.
that's okay.
I'll rewind.
No, it's okay. So that is going to be the second.
That's all I wanted to bring up was I don't disagree with Dorothy. I think it's just a little premature. That's all.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, so the alternate language that we are discussing is specifically in the Article 2 section, so that the verbiage around the chair and vice chair terms, the clarification that the board of directors vote initiates the conduct review committee, then the special session ability to hear a dispute appeal. Those are the three, one, two, three. Yes, those are the three articles that we are considering here. Dorothy?
I have another question. I'm sorry. So we say that they can't run for another term, but that doesn't mean they can't get
It's consecutive. It's consecutive.
Okay, consecutive, but can you not get voted in without running? I mean, to me, running means you're politicking for it. Maybe I'm misspeaking these words.
Yeah, Jeff.
So I think the distinction was made, Dorothy, because there could be a situation, the term we used was Megan moves to Scotland, right?
Yes.
She disappears, and as she disappears, we have to have a new board member. And if we say like can't be, right, then it means that you can't appoint someone who was just chair. And by running means sitting for an election, right? So you can't be elected again. So that would mean that you can't actually be elected, but you could technically be on the board, you could end up serving temporarily appointed.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I would like that situation. Can that?
You're
can
not
that-
moving to Scotland. Stop trying to move to Scotland.
To get out of it.
Yeah. All right. I don't see any other hands up. Let's wait for a little bit, and then we can move to the vote. Are you? So that's part. Yeah. So we're part 2A. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move the vote. Oh, sorry. One more. Adam, please.
Sorry, is Article 6, Section 3, is this the section that involves disputes?
Article 6, Section 3 does involve disputes, yes.
And we're currently voting on that, correct?
Currently voting on that, yes.
Okay, so yes, this is the correct place to say. I have just some concerns, I think, about the way this language is written. And I think it's related to some language that is in another section, which we're not voting on now, which is Article 1, Section 2. But I'll say it here, and if it's better to talk about this later. But the language is in this section. The language about the GNCC, by such vested power, shall be the supreme authority to decide all disputes between member clubs and/or its individual members. That's in Article 1, Section 2. The language in the section at hand is disputes between GNCC members and/or member clubs must be submitted in writing to the GNCC secretary. I think this language is overly broad in terms of adjudicating disputes between GNCC members, not even related to the matters we dealt with today. But I think as the language is written, you know, Kristen, if you were my next door neighbor and we had a disagreement about who was mowing the lawn on the property line, like we would both be GNCC curlers involved in a dispute.
Mm-hmm.
And I just think I think that language could be more precise.
Okay, so I'm going to pull this over to this screen just so you can see it. So this section did not actually change at all in Article 1, Section 2. So I just wanted to make that clear. So there's actually just some language changes on the definitions of things, but like the shall receive all its powers and prerogatives, etc. From member clubs, like we changed member clubs to match definitions instead of just saying clubs. But I think that language didn't necessarily change.
I think you added the words individual members.
Yeah, so that is the definition pieces, right? So what
that's what he's having the problem with is now you could be neighbors and not curler, have a non-curling discussion.
I see what you mean. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. That is a piece. Because so part of where this is coming from also is that we realized during this dispute that we just went through that we do not have in our current bylaws a dispute process like this,
and
right?
I am fully here for the intent of it. I just think the language as written, I mean, could this is an open question. I am not a legal scholar, to be clear. You know, if
but to Adam, to your point of if we're touching it, let's touch it right.
Right. But so let's say that, Scott, I'm sorry, I'm just going to use you as a random example, but let's say that you know, Scott totally innocently but accidentally backed his car into my car at a bonspiel sometime, right?
Which may or may not be legit.
Yeah. That whatever process, insurance, legal, otherwise, would play out as a result of that, hopefully not involving any of those things, but you know, that should not be subject to, I would say, intervention by the GNCC board outside of an exceptional circumstance. So I just want it to be clear that this language could not be invoked for a non-curling related dispute to be brought before the GNCC, which no one wants to have to deal with.
Yeah, so I hear you. I'm wondering, like, do you have a suggestion of a better way to word that?
Nope, not that smart.
That's totally fine. We got Dave Rosler here. He's super smart.
So my recommendation, and I might be able to come up with something real quick, is that the easiest way to settle things like this is not to overly wordify these sections, but to put definitions. And it's a good point that dispute is not defined in our definitions section. So if it falls within the amendment aspect of things, because it's in the spirit of the change, we could define a dispute as some term, blah, 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 associated with or circumferential to curling or operational of the operations of the GNCC or something like that. I think that's potentially a reasonable way.
Can you write that in the chat?
Yeah,
Maybe
yeah,
I think that would be super. That'd make it a little easier.
And that would be that would be an amendment to the the next vote where we have all the definitions, right?
Yes. Yeah. So Megan's point is very valid. That is actually, so I understand it relates to the one that you're talking about now. I want to make sure that when we look at the one with a current, I'm sorry,
if that's the route we go.
Yeah,
that would be.
So I guess the question I have is the dispute process. Apologies, it's a little hard to do it all the way up here. The dispute process is further down somewhere, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's a little, oh, there we go, got it. So just to make sure, Adam, did you have concerns about the language in this dispute process, or is it largely the other article?
I think my concern in this case, and if I'm not reading this correctly, please let me know, but it looks like there was a change in Article 6, Section 3, in the first line to specifically reference GNCC members and or member clubs.
Mm-hmm.
Like specifically the GNCC members part, and that's where I felt like it was related to the individual members piece.
That's fair.
Because a member is allowed to bring up a dispute we discussed this, I remember, at length. Jesus, it had been over a year ago when we brought this one up. Because anyone is allowed to bring up a dispute, not just the club.
Yeah, I think we're just trying to govern what kind of disputes. We did have language in there that said related to curling, but that's been removed.
Yeah, we did remove the related to curling disputes. That is true.
But there was a discussion around that, I remember too. Like, someone brought up a good point. It's the only reason we made the change.
Yeah, because I mean, this dispute that we just went through is not a curling dispute, really.
I think I would say this is the part that gives me the least pause. So I would be actually fine, I think, voting on this section as is, with the assumption that we can
come back,
insert a definition of a dispute or something. Even if not today, it could be at a later point. I just wanted to flag that was something that crossed my mind while reading.
Can I ask if that's something we could handle via policy other than bylaw?
I worry that because I feel like it could be pointed to in a way that having a policy is less formal, but I don't want to hold up the discussion today on this if I'm the only one that thinks this is an issue.
Well, no, it got brought up. Like, legitimately, last year we brought this up. Like, it was a discussion. So, like, is there a way that we could word it so that a policy could handle it? Sorry, not saying like we should address your issue with the policy, but the other way of like, can we word it so a policy can handle this, or we can refer to a policy for this?
I like Dave's latest option here: disputes regarding curling play, club operations, or organizational governance between individual members or member clubs.
That's better.
I would even be fine with adding something in there that's a little bit of a, not a catch-all, but gives like sort of, or other relevant
guidance for intent.
Yeah.
I mean, so actually, let me ask you a question.
Sorry, I know Matt had his hand up. I just want to make sure, Matt, is this on this topic or on a separate one?
It's this topic.
Okay, go ahead, please, because I know you've had your.
So I am not a lawyer, but my understanding by vested powers is that basically what the members allow the organization to do So I think having a definition doesn't hurt, but I don't know from legal standpoint if it's needed to know that obviously the GNCC can't really have a power over two neighbors having a dispute just because they're GNCC members.
Yeah, that's
Fair.
fair.
I know Mike Dunham had his hand up as well, and I would bet that he may have something to say here, if you're still available, Mike. Yes, please.
Actually, I had put my hand down, but
sorry.
But I will make the comment that the players involved are the member clubs, the members of the member clubs, and the GNCC. Now, if there's individuals with their clubs, they deal with it at the club level. If there's disputes between clubs, you've already covered that in the bylaws. So what's left is disputes between individuals and the GNCC itself, the board, which is what we heard today. So it seems to me that the missing piece is disputes between individual members of member clubs with the GNCC board, or however you want to identify that entity. That's the last piece that's missing, and that should.
Okay. Do you mind, if you wouldn't mind putting that in the chat, just how you would work? Oh, we did. Thank you. Perfect. Sorry, I missed it. Right there. Beautiful. Thank you. Sorry, I'm trying to run
That's an oversimplification, but that was my first thought on it.
No, I like that. Oh, yeah, that's, sorry, I missed that. Yes. So, and/or disputes. So you would add and/or disputes between individual members and member clubs within the GNCC board.
And/or is already there, so we're just saying disputes between individual members of individual members of member clubs with the GNCC board, or however the GNCC is defined in this context.
Okay.
Don't hate it, actually like it.
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I am going to copy that here, and I'm going to say, so this is now an alternate language proposal.
An alternate of the alternate.
And that would be coming up in the next, an alternate of it. No, actually, this is coming up for the next piece, but since it's relevant, I think we continue it. So this is going to be and/or disputes between individual members or member clubs within the GNCC. So.
Wait, didn't we have to rule again or make a conscious decision against that too, the way that was worded?
Sorry, just thinking here.
The other thing we can do is pass them as they are today, knowing we want to make a revision, and that can be done at the November meeting if we want to take some more time to
I am fine punting this to the next group. That sounds great.
I think, I mean, we put it, I want to make sure that it gets done right. And I think.
Yeah, and to be quick,
after 4.5 hours of a meeting, we might not be in our sharpest mindset.
That is a fair point. Yeah,
It still is an improvement of the previous.
Yes, agreed. It's still an improvement, and it's not perfect, and we'll work towards November meeting about refining this a bit.
I think that's reasonable.
Yes, my secretary.
I don't know if we want to add what I put in here though, which is to address the personal aspect by actually using an exclusionary statement at the end of that section where it says personal disputes unrelated to curling, play, club operations, or organizational governance of the GNCC shall fall outside of GNCC operations or the scope of these bylaws. That way you're not defining what we do, but you're basically saying we're not doing that.
We're not going to do that. Okay. I think that makes sense. And I also agree with what Megan said, like in terms of unless it is a showstopper, and I guess we'll know that by the vote. Let's keep moving. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any other?
All very valid points though.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think we have an intention to revisit this. Okay. Let me go back to my presentation because it's a little bit easier to see here. Is there anything else for discussion? Dave, your hand's still up.
Yeah.
Okay. No, it's all right. All right. Let's go ahead and move to a vote. Jeff, can you help start us up?
But just to clarify one more time, the vote we are voting on right now is the modified language.
Yes.
That we were reviewing when we first started, not what we were just talking about with the disputes.
Correct.
Article 2, Article 6.
Correct.
But just certain sections of those as well.
Correct.
Okay. We are opening the vote. Give it about, I'll say 10 seconds plus internet time over here.
It's
It's
up.
up. Great. All right. I'll come back with you in a second.
Hey, Dorothy, if everyone else is quiet right now, you got a second? Or did she drop?
No, I think she's still here, but she probably just walked away for a second after she voted.
Fair enough.
Might
I was
be
just
better.
gonna try to get a little ahead on. She wanted to discuss Article 12. Is that the second vote or the third vote? That's all I was trying to get to is
so far.
stage that.
Yeah, so there's potentially only 2.
Okay.
So we can talk
Okay.
about that. I'll come back to it for sure.
Are you guys talking about me?
Only good things. Only good
It
things.
was just me. It was just me. I was just trying to ask about the Article 12. It only got brought up in one of the motions, not 2 of them, right?
I'm sorry, I got kicked off, so I just came back on. So I'm not up to what's going on.
We'll wait till we get there. We'll wait till we get there. It's fine.
Is there a vote going on right now that I need to get to?
Yeah, so we're
No.
just for a summary for you, we are going forward with the alternate language vote for these 3 sections that you see on screen. There is an intention, there's a dispute piece within Article 1 where there was a suggestion that the language could be clarified a bit more, but likely not a showstopper. So we're going to move that to our fall meeting. And so it was a very good suggestion, I think, and worthy of an old business.
Okay, sorry everybody that I got kicked off.
Oh, you're fine. We just started the vote, so you're not far behind.
Okay, now I got to find the vote because I was voting on my phone and I had to sign in on my phone. So
I can plug in the link here. Thank you, Joan. Yeah, actually, if you can plug in the link, it's a lot easier. Yeah, just plug in in your browser. I'm trying not to. You're good.
oh.
All right, we have 41 ballots. I know we lost a few people. Dorothy, are you all good? Oh, wait. We'll wait another 60 seconds or so and just pulse check after that.
You're muted, Dorothy, if you're trying to say something.
For elections.
Okay. Let me see. I can actually tell if she was able to get in and vote. So
I should have voted.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we have no more being submitted at this point, so I think that we are good.
Well, wait, I did want to submit that one I talked about. Is it too late?
No, you're good. You're good.
That's
So
for the
this
next
is
one.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet.
All right.
the alternate language one. We're going to close the alternate language vote, and then we will move on and talk through the other. Okay, we're going to close that, and I will bring over our results here. Okay, sorry, it's very wonky. Yeah, I know. All right, it's just not. It does not like this other screen. Okay, so we have a lot of votes because this is the weighted one, right? So 5,200 roughly voted and 42 ballots. We had 49-46, so 96% with a yay, 209 or 4% with a nay. So yay wins with almost 96% of the votes, which meets the requirement of a 2/3 vote. So those portions of the bylaws are approved. Let's now go back.
Yay.
Yay. Let's now go back. So this is what I would recommend as the wording for the next motion if someone would like to make the motion. And I want to clarify what this means because it has a lot of words. It is basically saying the proposal that you all got April 1st that we sent out as it was, except all the ones we voted on already. So bylaws part 1 that we did at the beginning of the call and bylaws part 2 that we just did with the alternate language. This is the rest of it. Bill?
I motion we adopt the changes to the GNCC bylaws proposed April 1st. Sections 1 through 4, Article 5, Sections 2 through 3, Article 2, Sections 2 through 4, Article 2, Section 8, and Article 6, Section 3.
Seconded.
All right, Dan Mara seconded for us. Thank you. Thank you
Nice
both.
job, Bill.
Let's open up discussion. Dorothy, let's talk about Article 12.
Okay, I would like
So-
to propose that in Article 12, Section 1, we get rid of the word officers. Because I do not believe we should have paid officers without a major discussion of all the GNCC.
So I will tell you the intention of that was not to hire anybody. So we,
Right.
two things on this, right? So we wanted to make sure that and this was also suggested by our lawyer. She asked, do you have anybody on payroll? We said, no. What's your policy if you wanted to? And we said, well, we would have to change the bylaws and then we would have to get it approved in our budget, et cetera, et cetera. So there would always be the budget step, right? But
in reality, you can spend over your budget. You guys have the authority to spend the money without necessarily coming back to a vote for us to hire somebody.
True.
Do we?
But over like a certain threshold, right?
Well,
Like,
it needs to be within a budget first.
Yeah.
For sure.
For whatever
Yeah.
it's worth, this particular section came out of the New York not-for-profit corporation law that the lawyer suggested.
I absolutely understand that, and I sit on 5 different New York State not-for-profit boards, and we always take off the officers out of there because we don't want our officers paid.
Okay. I think that's reasonable. Yeah. Just making sure we're good. Yes. So
Go ahead.
Scott, you kind of had yours up first. Is it on this issue?
Yeah, it's on this issue. So frankly, I agree with Dorothy, but I want to make sure we're bringing it up at the right point. Is this the amendment where we make that change or not? Was my concern. Because I think we all agree on the intent, but to me, it's on the where we label it is the issue.
Karen. So I will say very quickly, like this is the bylaws portion that would vote this language into our bylaws, which does include officers. So this is the time to bring it up for sure.
Okay. Then I would lean toward. Sorry. I would lean toward Dorothy's exemption on the removing the directors personally, but that's just me.
Okay. Karen.
I don't want us to take out language that could potentially limit the professionalism or the need that we fill in the future. So I would want, not that it's anyone's intention to go out right now and go hire a secretary or go hire a treasurer or go hire another of the board positions. But if we deny ourselves that capability in the future because right now we choose to take them out, I think we could be doing a disservice to the future. This organization is getting bigger, more complex, more technologically advanced, more And we're curlers. So sometimes we may need to hire people to do the mundane task like crunching numbers or taking minutes. And I wouldn't want us to limit ourselves by removing that language now.
So I will say Dorothy's suggestion, just to clarify, is to remove officers from this.
So we
Not
could
not
have
to remove the whole
employee
policy,
agents.
but to remove just officers.
Just remove
Is that
the word
still?
But a treasurer is an officer
Yeah.
and the second, I mean,
Yeah.
Doesn't
They're
mean you can't hire a bookkeeper. Just says you
Not-
can't hire the person who's our treasurer who sits on our board.
no, I understand. So you and I respectfully, Dorothy, disagree.
Okay.
Matt, you are up next.
Yeah, I guess my only question, comment to throw out there is when you read through the definitions of what compensation is, by removing officers, does those definitions then create an issue? Say if board members have to travel somewhere for something on behalf of the GNCC and they're getting, lodging or food paid for, things like that. Does removing them then prevent?
No, that's reimbursement of expenses, not compensation. It is separate.
It does say payment of personal travel in section 2 definitions for the purposes of that article. Let me pull it up a little bit here. Sorry. Okay, there we are. So it's here, payment of personal travel. So obviously standard policy here, but and I know we have 2 other hands up too. I think that is a really good point though. Dan.
I was just going to ask the same question because the definition of compensation also had the catch-all or other expenses. So it's not necessarily private or personal travel, which you could argue either way.
It's true.
I'm sorry, I just jumped on Dan Hazlitt.
No, it's okay. I just realized I should have been more specific. I apologize. Dan has.
And I don't know if there's another section that covers reimbursement for expenses, as Dorothy said. I didn't see it on a quick look.
There is not.
But that certainly can be in your operating procedures, that all reimbursements will happen. It does not have to be in bylaws.
That was my point. This is policy other than bylaw.
Dan.
I strongly agree with Dorothy's point about officers not being paid. I think the GNCC is growing. It might be necessary in the future, and I think that's a great point, but that should be a much larger conversation. So, if we're volunteer, I think officers should not be being paid unless the membership decides it's a good thing, but it shouldn't slip in, I think.
Okay. I think that's reasonable.
Do we need an official motion to change that language?
We would need to pull back the current motion, which would be Bill, if Bill wants to do that, or we continue. Yeah, you can withdraw the motion, and then what we would do is pull this section out, vote on the others, and then we can vote on alternate language for this. I can kind of quickly draw that up. Might take like a couple minutes, but.
Can we not just have a motion inside of this motion to amend that one word and remove that word? That's how I've done it before.
Yeah. It's a no.
I'm gonna ask Neil. Neil, you got this one?
I am. You have been using the language the entire time of alternate. You have not been using the amendment process. You've been using alternate language process. So I feel like if the maker of the motion agrees to the amendment, then you just change the alternate language.
A friendly amendment.
Okay, so basically we could have an amendment with new alternate language as proposed during the meeting for Article 12.
The only difference between this one and the previous ones is that it's a little more contentious. There are people that are going to want to speak to both sides. So it's up to you as the chair whether you want to recognize the member for an amendment, and then you would go through that voting process, and then you would make it formalized. But you haven't been doing that up until this point.
That's
Mike. Neil brings up a good point.
Okay.
So I would say, first, Bill, since you made the motion, are you comfortable if we write up some new language here to remove officers across Article 12, are you comfortable making, amending the motion to include alternate language?
I am.
Okay, so give us, I don't know, a minute, and let me just read through. I'm gonna do it right on screen too, so you can see it. I'm gonna read through, I'm gonna take off the officers out of here, and I'm going to put it into a new alternate language spot, just so you can all see. I'm just gonna leave it right up. So if anybody,
You might want to remove in the election buddy, Jeff.
yeah, Jeff, you're
If
gonna
you can
need
go ahead and
to,
change that, or do the same
yeah, so,
change for.
yeah. So add the, so yeah, once I do this, we will go and we will write it into the motion, and Bill, you can restate it if you wouldn't mind. Matt.
If we're changing that, since it seems that we've established also reimbursement was not clarified elsewhere, should we also add that reimbursement is not considered compensation here in the definitions?
Should that go here or in the definitions at the beginning?
Well, this does have standard language of like New York not-for-profit. So I'm less comfortable with that, just because this is like removing a word, like removing officers makes sense. I would probably suggest we do a similar thing here and make the change and try to dial that piece in for November.
Follow up for November with the lawyer.
Yeah, just because I think yeah, I'd like to talk to Tracy for sure. So increasing the compensation of compensation due. So all compensation arrangements entered into the corporation, all affairs for providing compensation to or increasing the compensation of officers. Oh, okay. Well, okay. So we're just getting rid of section 3 because this is all about the officers.
We're finally removing something? Hell yeah.
God, yeah. All right. Okay, so this becomes section 3. This information is fine. 4. 8. Okay, I think I've gotten it all. So I am going to then put edited during annual meeting. Just so we have that. Okay, so this is now updated. So let's go back to, this is a little on the fly here, guys. I appreciate you working through it with me. So accept article, so that changes to the GNCC bylaws proposed April 1st with the addition of, or with the replacement of using alternate language. How do we want to say this?
With the alternate language of
alternate language of Article 12.
We should also ask if there are any other.
Yeah, I know Denmark, please.
I was just going to go back with what Matt's comment was about reimbursement. Reading section 2 definitions a little more closely, what I had said is or other expenses is actually part of a parenthetical referring to fringe benefits. So I think the reimbursements would be outside of that because that anticipates that it's part of an overall compensation package, not regular operations.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. I think we're still good to keep going with that in November.
As long as
Adam?
in November we will, we're notating the 2 revisions we're gonna come back to.
Perfect. Okay, you guys got that. All right, Adam, please.
So I have additional language issues in a few of these sections, but I just wanted to point out Laura's comment in the chat that maybe because we're so far over time, we should do elections and then circle back to this.
Yes. Actually, are we close here, I guess? Do we have any more comments besides?
I was just gonna say we punted this last year on purpose because we knew it was
Yeah.
gonna take a long time. Like we're here.
Let's
Okay.
power, if we can, Adam, let's raise, so Bill, if we can put this as the, it's up to you, of course, but if you are comfortable with this as the updated motion, the amended motion, or should we go through Adam's first?
I'm comfortable with that as the motion.
Okay. Adam, is anything that you're going, just for the purposes of time and knowing that we will revisit some of this, are any of the items that you want to go through showstoppers for you?
I will feel better if you let me mention them, and then if everyone decides to proceed, I think I can live with that.
Hell yeah.
Okay, let's do it. And then like Bill will wait and we'll come back just in case we decide on anything different. But the motion still is the other one and not this yet.
Yep. Article 5, Section 4, I understand that it is not necessary and that the advisor suggested removing it, but I am curious about that and would feel more comfortable if that language remained in the bylaws. This is the part about GNCC does not require any member club in good standing within the GNCC to pay dues to any external organization.
We do not, though, as a policy. Like,
right.
yes.
I just, having that enshrined in the bylaws after everything we went through with USA Curling from 20 that was onward feels like something worth keeping in the bylaws to me.
I agree.
And my other question is just below that in Article 5, Section 5. Maybe it's just a writing thing or maybe it's legalese, but I don't understand the phrase, a contingency fund shall be maintained composed for general fund monies.
Oh, do we miss a? To be maintained and composed. Oh, the contingency is for like the general fund is what it's saying. So the contingency.
Reason for that, the reason for that is that we didn't want that money to be going into any of the dedicated funds, the Memorial Fund, Legacy Fund,
Okay.
Second Century.
I hadn't understood that, but if that's clear to everybody else, that is fine for me. And I think those are my only remaining language issues.
Okay. Okay. Can we table the section, or Article 5, Section 4 for November and determine whether we want to add that back in?
So long as you promise we do that, because I think it should be back in.
I have such hesitancy to take it out and then put it back in. Could we leave it in and then revisit taking it out in November?
Oh, I like that.
I like that too. I like that too.
I would wait that way too.
Okay, so let's do this.
So then Bill's
Put this
motion goes
over
back
here.
to original.
So
I went through all that too. Leave it there.
does not require any member. I am going to change member club to capitals because that's our definition. In good standing with the DNCC, any external organization.
Yay, we are having standards. It's so painful. But it's so good.
I know. I love it, the definitions we have. So determine membership feasibility and does not affect membership in the GNCC. Is that, Dave, is that aligned with our definitions?
You could say standing.
It's a good question.
Should be membership eligibility.
Good standing. I mean, it's redundant.
Membership eligibility.
But,
Agree with that. Membership eligibility.
Yep, and does not affect membership with membership in good standing, right?
Just say membership standing.
So, yeah, I don't want to be overly redundant.
No.
So,
That's fair.
right, member club. So member club and member club in good standing are the same
Oh, the same,
definition,
so it
so that
doesn't
can stay. Membership,
We can get rid of it in the GNCC at the end. I mean, that's what we're talking about.
membership and membership in good standing are the same definition as well. So it can just be membership or it can be membership in good standing. Or membership standing, that's weird.
Membership eligibility and does not affect membership standing, just to make sure in the GNCC is there because it's, we're talking external organizations too, so we'll just leave it. I mean, it's not a material change. I just want to make sure we're not contradicting anything.
Yep, we're not.
Okay, so this one is changed during annual meeting. Okay, and then we have, that one is Article 5, Section 4. So we are going to go here. It's not elections yet. We're almost there, guys, I swear. Alternate language of Article 5.
Yeah.
5, Section 4. Geez. Sorry, Bill. And Article.
You can just say.
Oh, good. I picked a good
Bill's
one.
motion is going to be the longest motion in GNCC history at this point.
It
I'm in the
will.
record books.
Okay, let me pop this back up. Are there any other items for discussion? Oh, shoot, sorry.
Space, yeah.
Yeah, Article
yeah.
Section 4
Article five,
and
Section 4,
Articles 12.
12.
Okay. I just deleted and accidentally. Okay. Are there any more items for discussion before we make Bill say this long amended thing?
He can just say as motioned. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna put this up here. Bill, take it away.
Can I amend my motion to as motioned on the screen?
Yeah. Seconded.
All right, Megan seconded. Any discussion? We are gonna go ahead. Jeff is just pasting this
Pasting that
long
into
thing
the-
into the
into the
vote.
voting.
And now we just have to go through a quick test, and in about, I'd call it 30 seconds, we will open the vote. And oh my God, guys, we are almost there.
Whoa!
We're more than halfway.
All right, we're starting the votes. It just takes a second. Okay. All right, you should be good to go.
Do we have records on what the longest annual meeting is time-wise?
Well, the problem is it used to be in person, and like I've been to in person that was like 10 hours. The USCA one was forever.
Yeah, that one was a whole bit.
There was an in-person GNCC for 10 hours.
Oh yeah. Well, they took a break in the middle for lunch, all that. Yeah.
Oh, Jesus F.
Well, that's why we went to this format.
We used
too,
to
because
start
everyone-
on
format.
it used to start on Friday nights with the president's reception, and Saturday was usually invited speakers and programs, and then the regular meeting was on Sunday, normally for about 4
Carl,
or
that
6 hours.
sounds awful.
The business part, the business part, which is what we're doing here, was never 10 hours though. I don't
No.
remember.
No, that was,
Business
that
part.
was
This
always
might
Sunday
be a
afternoon.
record for the business part. This is a long one.
We had a lot of business.
Thank you, Dan.
This is my swan song, you guys. It's the, the bylaws. Oh, but you know what? It's worthy. I'm so glad.
Kristen Business Conrad. Got
It
it.
would be, Adam, I agree with you. She's
Oh,
just
thank-
making sure we don't vote her back in because we don't want another meeting this month.
The next jersey she gets from Dynasty is just going to be the business right on the back.
You will not accept another nomination.
I'll accept a nickname, not a nomination. All right, we should be pretty close, I would guess, since everybody's coming back in. Let's see what we got. I see Dustin laughing. I might get this tattooed, Dustin.
Oh, absolutely. We're definitely doing that now.
All right, let me keep. Really? No, you're good. Thank you. All right, so let's. Sorry, I keep switching the screen accidentally. Guess what? We're going to elections next. But first, we are going to finish up this vote. If anyone has any, I know I'm trying to pop back. There we go. All right. If anyone has any issues voting or anything in that nature, please let us know as soon as humanly possible, because we are going to close this thing down shortly.
Now?
I think we can close it down.
Nobody has said.
All right. Closing it. And results are coming your way. Drum roll, please. Oh God. Okay. Where is results?
Uh-huh.
All right. This giant motion. I'm not reading it.
Dum-dum-dum.
Pretty yay. Yay wins. with
Yay.
90% of the votes, meets the 2/3 requirement. Our bylaws are now in place. There are 3 old business items that will be carried forward into November for our fall meeting. And as long as we can vote on them outside of the annual meeting, we will handle those then. Beautiful. Thank you all. I know that was a little painful. I don't believe we have, so for the next section, I don't believe we have Greg Eisenhower on. Is that true?
Yes.
Okay. I know he said he had a few things he had to take care of today and wasn't sure if he was going to be able to join us. But he wrote up a nice email for me, so I have enough information to carry this forward, unless there is someone from the nominations committee who would like to fill in for him. Okay, I'm gonna go forward. Okay, so the slate of nominees recommended by the nominating committee is Chair Megan Thompson, Vice Chair Dave Rosler, the Director of Arena Curling, Jonathan Hearn, the Director of GNCC Events, Heather Lambert, and this is what I mentioned at the very beginning I would circle back to. We do not have a nominee at this point for over 21 national events, meaning playdowns. So I'm going to ask for nominations in a moment, but I want to first talk through, obviously you've been exposed to Megan and Dave quite a bit throughout these last couple of years, but I want to share Jonathan Hearn's letter with interest in becoming the Director of Arena Curling. I know it's a little small, I apologize, but he is from North End Curling Club and he is an enthusiastic arena curler, and I think he would do a great job personally. Not about my thoughts. Yeah, so Adam, I only received this like 2 days ago. So yes.
I don't doubt it. I'm just
Yeah.
saying it would be great.
Totally heard and agree, and I will pass that along to the future chair. But I completely agree, and they had a little bit of trouble, I think, especially coming off an Olympic year. Everybody's kind of a little burned out, so I think that was probably the part of the issue. But yes, in the future, 100%, I would love to have this a lot sooner and have you be able to see these letters, yeah, with more time to prepare. All right, and if you're all ready, I'm going to go to Heather's, but I will wait. Thanks, Peter. Okay, Heather's is really tiny. If I need to, Scott?
I had conversations with Heather besides this. I think she's going to do great things. I think she's a wonderful human and she has the best of intentions.
Love that. Thanks. All right, so Heather Lambert of Broomstones, and she is going for our Director of GNCC Events and apparently has the endorsement of our outgoing Director of GNCC Events.
I'm just reading the card there.
Yeah, absolutely. You're good.
No, no, it's a baby.
Oh,
Yeah.
she's love it.
Heather's on the call.
Yep. Perfect. We have Heather on the call too. That's great. All right. So that said, so we have our slate of nominations. I'm going to go back to this. We have to ask for nominations 3 times. So I'm going to ask first, are there any nominations on the floor? Are there any nominations from the floor? And finally, are there any nominations from the floor? Okay, with that said.
I motion we accept the slate of officers as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded!
Everybody's
I haven't
racing.
seconded a single thing.
Scott, you're not the representative, so you cannot second it. So who did we have otherwise?
I heard Dan.
Dan. Okay, Dan Mara, are you second?
Just to cut off Scott.
All right. So we are going to open up the vote here. Same channel, same. We are almost done, I swear. All right, we are now open. So feel free to go vote on the slate of nominations for Board of Directors to elect them to the board. All right, no, you're good.
It's easier to do.
Megan, do you have that thing I sent you?
It's right here. Waiting for
Okay.
the vote to finish and then.
A little levity. I got something for like something delivered to my house from Dorothy for Megan, and it said "really for Megan." That was pretty good. It was great. It made me chuckle.
It might you opening it.
All right.
Can I just add, I mean, I've already voted, but I'm just curious because I don't think I know which clubs Megan and
Oh,
apologies.
I am
the vice
from
president.
Peachtree. Yep, I'm from Peachtree, down in Atlanta. And then
And, I'm from Ocean State Curling Club, and I'm also a member of Pawcatuck River.
Love that.
What was
And
the
Dan-
second one? I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
Pawcatuck River, they curl down in Westerly, Rhode Island. But,
And then Dan has like, yes, that is the last vote unless something crazy happens in new business. So I totally understand if people need to drop. That is, all right, that's still running. We are pretty close. Okay. I'm gonna give 30 seconds. Is anyone having issues? Thank you, Dan. And thank you, Travis. If anybody has any issues, this is your last moment because I am about to close it. Great. All right. Shoot. Close it. Come on. Closing it down, and results are tabulating, and our results say 100% to accept. Nice. So with that, I'm going to pass Megan the gavel, the official gavel of the chairhood.
Thank you.
And I do just
Don't
wanna
cry,
say-
Megan. Don't cry.
I do
Don't
just want
cry,
to say,
Kristen.
I know I might. No, it has been an absolute pleasure working with this board and working with all of you. And you know, I'm glad there's no consecutive term. We'll reiterate that. But you know, it's not always been the easiest. You know, the easiest position to be in, especially these past really the past 6 years I've been in it. We've had some ups and downs, but this organization continues to inspire me, and the volunteers are what make it work and what make it wonderful. And you know, I'm going to be part of this community forever. You're not going to get rid of me, and Megan will always have me to call on. So I appreciate y'all.
All right, real quick. So, I'm not gonna look at you because I might cry, but I just give an appreciation to Kristen. So if you don't know, if their service on the GNC as a whole had COVID on it, it had rejoining and leaving and rejoining USA Curling. It had what we went through today on it. Through all of that, Kristen has continually led us and made sure that we do it with the, you know, highest level of integrity, a constant appreciation for the work that we're doing, and that doesn't go unnoticed, as well as just organizing us, which is a job and a half. And we cannot thank you enough for your service to the GNCC, as well as your leadership. It's been invaluable. So thanks. So the awards committee would like me to present to you your past president.
Thank you.
So, thank you.
Thank you.
Here, here.
Oh, that is very nice. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. And with that, would
Sorry.
you like to move us
Nope.
into? Okay.
Nope.
All right. I'm
Do
going to
swan
switch
song.
back. As the rest of it is going to be pretty quick, I think, guys. All right. Let me move back into old business. So I just want to talk through the old business pieces, which will be 2 minutes. We talked about a code of conduct creation. Obviously, we had a lot of bylaws changes coming, and those are now in place. So I think this work can continue in a more concrete and guided way. We wanted to make sure we didn't do anything that was in conflict with itself. So that is something I am leaving to the next board to carry forward, and I do think it's a worthy project. Interested volunteers should email Secretary Jeff at gncc.org. And certainly we'd like to have people from all over the organization with different perspectives. So please consider that one if you have a little bit of extra volunteer time. We also have talked about an event scheduling committee, and this one is under Scott. Thank you, Scott, for all of your service here. You've done tremendous things, and and Heather, congratulations and welcome, and you will have a lot of great things to do ahead of you. This is one recommendation that has come up over past years, and we're tabling that to allow you to get set up in your new role. But and yeah, Scott, feel free to add anything there. But
yeah,
Heather, I already sent you an email with my personal cell.
Perfect. All right. And then finally, our YouTube channel, that is now live after the last annual meeting. So there are a couple things up there. Feel free to check it out. This will be posted up there. And I just want to say, new business here. Thank you and congratulations to Heather and Jonathan. Welcome to the board, I'm sure. And congratulations to Megan and Dave as well. Still looking for a nominee for the Playdowns role, but I know you all will continue to do great things. I will open this to the floor for new business. MJ.
Short, sweet, to the point. After the 2026-27 season, I would like to retire as chair of college curling. If it's not an onerous job, if you're interested, please contact me. Thank you.
Thank you, MJ. And you asked a question, who's in charge of the YouTube channel? Currently, it's me. It might be Megan, but certainly, Sue, if that's something you wanted to take over as social, that would be an option. Or MJ, if you have things to add to the YouTube channel, I would just go to.
I have stuff that I have on our servers we'd like to transfer.
Yes, absolutely. So I would say start with chair at gncc.org, and Megan and I can transition that way.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you. Dorothy?
Just very quickly, the women's championship, GNCC women's championship did not happen last season for a lot of different reasons. So Rochester is going to pick up that torch and run with it, but we're doing it very early. So it's October 9th, 10th, and 11th. We already have 8 teams signed up, so the event's going to happen. So please spread the word and let's get it going.
Awesome. Perfect. Thank you so much, Dorothy, and thank you for picking that up. That was a tough loss this last one.
Which event? I'm sorry, repeat.
The GNCC Women's Championship.
Thank you.
Yep.
Rachel, call me tomorrow as per our email. That's already going on.
All right. Any other new business items? We are moving to adjournment. Thank you all so much. I know it's been a marathon. Thank you. There she goes with the gavel. Thank you all. Have a wonderful night.
Thank you, everyone.